Alright guys, we are doing the unboxing of the AnyTone digital radio DMR AT-D578. Alright, you can only do one unboxing, and this is it. Thanks for buying your radio from us. Alright, I paid full price for this radio. This is one I just wanted to have. AnyTone, and here we go. It's a look and feel. There's a manual. I'll be saving all of this stuff. 2 stickers. Is that how you say that? AnyTone? So this is the big one. This is the part I like. This is surprisingly heavy. Connected over here. Surprisingly heavy. A little bit heavier than I thought it would be. That's alright. Here's some accessories. I'll be using Anderson power poles on this right away. So what do you get? I was wondering what you get on the other end, and of course it's the typical just wire. So this will be Anderson power poles. That's the little microphone hookup, I believe. Some fuses. Car installation. Little USB connector. This is the Bluetooth push-to-talk. Not sure how this works yet, but I guess that's all it does is push-to-talk. Looks like it's already got some charge to it. And there, this would fit inside. Here's the GPS antenna. Pretty cool that it comes with this. I knew it did this. And one of the reasons I got this radio was APRS. I've had APRS before, and it was clunky. I had this probably 10 years ago, APRS. It was real clunky the way it worked, but now it's built inside of the radio antenna, GPS antenna. And then the AnyTone gigantic microphone. Wow. Thing is a beast. It does feel plasticky and light, but of course I like it still. I'm glad I got it. And now, for the radio itself, we have the mounting bracket. And then the radio itself. Now I'm thinking about using this as a home station, as a desktop type station, and this is just the unboxing video. I will show the programming and everything either in another segment or in another video. Power button, it feels very heavy and beefy. Got a little tiny fan back here, but it feels very sturdy, and everything is like metal except for the front. I do wish the front would come off like my old Yaesu does. Okay guys, what we're going to do now is show you how easy it is to get this set up. I'm going to do everything for you right now and load what's called a code plug, which is basically a whole bunch of channels that are in your area that you can tune to. So let's get started. First of all, here's the radio. Yes, it's a bit expensive. I paid full price for this, just so you know. AnyTone 578. I really like it. I've had about a week now. Pretty expensive? Sure. But what do you get? Tri-band, UHF 220, and VHF. That's what I really wanted. I wanted something with a little bit of power, more than just 5 watts. So this has 5 watts, 50 watts VHF, 45 watts UHF, which is something I wanted like in a vehicle or a base. I'm using this as a base station right now. All right, so you can have thousands of channels on it. That's pretty cool, huh? All right, enough of that. All you do when you get this is you get a cable. Well, you don't even need a cable. You can use one of your old, I think it's a micro USB, the old kind of cell phones like Android phones use. Use that cable and it'll plug right into the side. So I am using a Windows computer right now. So you plug this into your radio and then into your USB port, and it pretty much just finds your radio. Okay, so now your radio is connected. You might hear that thing like ding ding, you know, like the Windows does. All right, so all you need to do is Google something like DMR 578 for your radio software, right? And pretty much BridgeCom systems will come up. And if not, you can just look at this link right here. And BridgeCom Systems has the software. So you click here and you download your programming software and possibly firmware. This is just programming. We're getting you up and started. We're not worrying about firmware right now. Download this file, save it, unzip it, And we'll save the file. It downloads to your computer. It's just a file, nothing. Okay, so you end up with this folder here in your downloads, probably in your downloads. And you get an application, README. So it looks like if you look around, you've got your README, and then this is the firmware update. I'm not touching on that right now. And this is your application. And okay, and I'm going to create a desktop icon, install, and go ahead and launch it. And your desktop, you will get a little icon that looks like this right here. It's got kind of an orange look to it. Okay, this is what you first see when you get your software, and it's going to take a little bit of learning, and I'm not going to go deep into the bowels of this. I'm not super familiar with it, but basically your channels appear here, and those are the channels that you'll flip through, but they are all kind of grouped by zones, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So your channels and your zones, and then your digital. Notice that I go down here to contact list. There's no contacts right now. This is brand new and fresh, right? And that's all cool because we're about to load a code plug that does everything for you, which is pretty darn cool. All right, so we have our radio powered on, and we've got our USB cable. Now we're ready to start doing some uploading, and here's how I did it. Go over here to down a code plug on the BridgeCom website. And here's just telling you blah, blah, blah. We don't trust anything that's here. We don't have any responsibility. So here's what I did. I go to Missouri. And I pick St. Louis. That's my area. WD0GSY. Now, we're not talking about hotspots right now. We're going to connect this directly over the air to a repeater, okay? So, watch this, how cool this is. We're going to save this file in our downloads, okay? There is our downloads. Now, we're going to open this file again, and it's associated to that program. You could have opened it by clicking on it, I think, if you have an association to that file. You know, each file has a type, RDT. I have it associated to that program. So now, notice all the junk that's in here. Everything is dang near perfect because whoever programmed this code plug did it right. So check it out. We've got channels, all of these channels. And just for now, just know we don't need all of these. There's way overkill. And that's fine. It's got tons and tons and tons of channels and zones. So someone told me that this type of radio doesn't travel well. Well, that's actually kind of not true because in your radio, you can pick a zone. And each zone has many channels, okay? So let's look at my number one zone that I hang out in here in St. Louis. So I double click on it. And this is all the talk groups on my, this is all the talk groups that are on my local repeater. Worldwide English, I don't know, USA, regional, state, STL Metro. I hear a lot of activity on STL Metro, and I talked on Parrot the other day. That's where you talk, and it talks right back. It kind of parrots what you just said, so you can see if you're getting a signal. But I hear stuff on Worldwide and stuff. All right. So that is just one zone. So if you're driving somewhere and you say, hey, I'm in Indianapolis, you can pick if you had it in here, you can pick your Indianapolis zone. So there's a St. Charles group. There's a Colorado group. You see how it has, you can travel with this. There's a Florida group. I mean, you can program this, obviously, but this was all given to us right away. So all I had to do was open this file, download it, open it, and then, now this is important, go to set COM, and you have to pick probably the last COM port you have here. And I don't have my radio on. Usually it's like COM 7. Watch this. I'm going to turn my radio on. All right, did you hear that sound? That means now we go to set COM. Guess what? Right there, COM 7. You pick it. Now, everything you attach to your computer has a COM port, and you just basically have to, it's not that complicated. You just have to pick it. So I don't know what COM 4 is, but if you tried it and failed, it'll tell you it doesn't work. It's nothing on there, okay? So if you see several COM ports, just probably pick the last one that just showed up. That's probably your radio. All right, so now at this point, I could read from my radio, and it will pull everything from my radio back into this screen, and I could save it as a file, or I could write to the radio. I could do either one. But if you write to the radio, I don't need to do this, but it takes a long time to do this. But all you have to do is hit OK. It's going to push every single one of these channels into my radio. It's actually, if you have a computer, actually I enjoy programming my radio via a computer because it's so much easier to have a keyboard and change things here than it is to dial around on a stupid menu on a radio. So if you do the digital contact list in addition to the other data, it takes a lot more time. And what is that contact list? Oh, crap. I didn't mean to write to the radio. So I didn't mean to do the contact list, and it's going to take a long time. So meanwhile, let's take a look at... Let's go back to the code plugs, okay? This is kind of interesting. You can kind of look around. You need to know if you have a digital repeater around you if you want to do it this way. Otherwise, you need a hotspot, which connects you to the internet, and then it does it. But if you don't have a hotspot, which I don't at this time, look around and see what you've got. So I pick Oklahoma, for example, Oklahoma City, right? Go ahead and just download the code plug. You can do all this without a radio, by the way. I'm going to save that file. I'm going to go ahead and open it. So it's going to download and open at the same time. So now we're back here, and I want to talk a little bit about... Now remember, these radios have both digital and analog. So take a look. In my channel, in my zone, I still have analog stations in here. So let's look at a zone. Okay, so now notice that these zones have... this is my digital up here. Notice this is what STL analog. So if you're on your radio, you can switch over to this zone, which is why this is so cool, because this zone has 43 channels. All of them are analog. So take a look. All of these are my old analog repeater stations. Everything is still there, and it's grouped. It's grouped very nicely. Plus, if I go traveling somewhere else, probably in here, Kansas and Oklahoma, here's a bunch of cities like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and everything already programmed, and all I did was put the Missouri one in there. Okay, so notice down here we've got analog address book and digital. Okay, so we've got digital and analog, and we've got our zones and channels. So I wanted to talk about your contacts. Contacts are more individual based. So take a look at this. So what they did, whoever programmed this, went out to the DMR ID list, and if you don't know what that is, when you go and get a DMR radio, you apply for a DMR ID. And so you register, type in DMR ID, apply, and you go out here to radioid.net, and you register. All you do basically is say, I agree, you register. You put in your email and your account, your call sign, and I'm not going to go into that. That's another video. But you get an ID number, which is actually an actual number, 314 or something. So one thing you need to do is put your radio ID in your radio. So your radio here, when you first get it, it will not know that radio ID that you got. It was assigned to you. It's a unique number for you. And you put your name in there, or like a call sign in your name. Then the network knows who you are, and when you put your call out there, people will know your name and your call sign. It will show up on the screen, which is really cool part of digital. So that's what a DMR radio ID is. That's how you get it. Go to here, radioid.net, apply, get it. I got mine within like 30 minutes. It just worked. So that brings me back down to digital contacts. Contacts are basically individuals, and there are so many of them. So whoever created this code plug put pretty much every user in that database of users. You know how you just applied? Well, you became a part of the database of users or people that are out there. So these people are, there's Matthew, there's Guy, there's Luella, there's Jeffrey. There's thousands of people in here, okay? And these were loaded on your radio, okay? You see how it's 1 to 20,000, 20,000 to 40,000, 40,000 to 6,000. Guess what? Each one of these you click on is another 20,000 people. All this was loaded in a database. Now, why this is cool is because if one of these people key up or start talking, it will show up. If they're in here, it will show up on your radio because it will know if EB7KC keys up and starts talking, Thomas will show up, and that's how you know who you're talking to. It's pretty nice for people like me that are really bad at remembering names and call signs. I can just kind of look on the screen and see who's there. Also wanted to add that the programming for, I have 3 different radios now, a TID, a TYR, and an AnyTone, and all of them are very, very similar. So once you learn what a zone is, what a channel is, what a DMR ID is, and what a contact is, everything else is kind of simple, okay? And remember, the code plug did everything for you. So if you find a code plug in your area and just load it, you don't have to do anything. I'm just telling you what's there right now. You don't even have to know what's there. See? So see all these people here? You can even look for your friends in there. My friend was in there because he's in the database, Ron K4SFC. So if he calls up or keys up, I can see it's him. It's kind of cool. You can even direct call people in here. Now, I forgot to mention that this radio also has APRS. And if you don't know what APRS is, I did this once and I had a lot different setup, but this radio will put out a little beacon signal with a GPS device. It knows where it is. And you tell it what little icon you want, like a house or a car, or you can have a little bike running or whatever you're doing. There's like an antenna right there, see? And it will follow you and track you. Like if you're driving around, it will track you and show you where you've been and all. Look at all these people. Like this house is WB0QXW. This is a repeater right here. All of these are APRS, and you can kind of sit here and watch people drive around and stuff. It's kind of cool. There's a person like running in the river right there. K9JDN. I don't know what that is. Once you're connected to this network, you will appear on here, and I haven't done that yet, but I am going to do it. I've done it before, but not on this radio. But this radio is APRS capable. It has a little thing in the back for your, and it comes with a GPS antenna. So you screw in the GPS antenna, you set up that stuff. All of that stuff is set up in here somewhere in the APRS, but I'm not going to get into that. All right, guys, so all you have to do is set your COM port, find your file. I don't have the radio on, that's why it's not there. And then go write to radio or read from radio. And if you don't like something, you can come in here. For some reason, this code plug didn't have the parrot on it. So I figured out, I came in here and I added, let's look at zones. Zones are the groupings of channels. So this zone has 19 channels. This zone has 43 channels. This zone has 17. Now, this is the only repeater I can hit from my house, but it's pretty darn good. And these are all the talk groups within that one repeater. So I added parrot. That's the one where you talk and they talk back to you. It repeats what you said. Anyway, guys, I hope this got you set up and excited about it. The code plugs make everything you don't even need to know how to program. Just if you're thinking about getting one of these, find your area. And it might not even be this site or even this type of radio. But find a code plug, install the software, and see what kinds of stations are there. Find out what's out there. If you're going to do the DMR style, see if you like it. See if you can connect to something. And remember, there's always the hotspot option. A hotspot, if I understand it right, is basically you connect a tiny little radio receiver directly to your internet connection. Then you talk to that, and it talks to the internet, and you can get everything from there. So instead of being stuck to one repeater like I am right now, if you have a hotspot, you can basically access your hotspot. Then it's connected to the internet, and then you can talk to all the stuff out there. And so that's where it gets really interesting. If you can find some really cool talk groups out there, I mean, you never know. They might be talking about astronomy in Chicago or the weather in Oklahoma City. Like, look at all these different types of channels. I mean, when you start going through, you realize the access. This is what got me excited, is like the access to the whole world of things. Like if I wanted to hear stuff in Northwest Missouri or Oklahoma City, all these Oklahoma cities, I could like maybe listen to the weather or storms and other parts. If I mean, assuming they're broadcasting, and then the United Kingdom. I mean, just thousands of channels out there, and they're all connected. That's why I like this. I don't care if it's connected to the internet. I mean, I still love my old radios and all, but it's still, I mean, there's a lot more here. It's still interesting. It's still subdivided by people that have licenses, and I think that's pretty cool. Okay, really quick, I'm going to show you some of the features. I just have a 12-volt battery up there connected to this USB cable. Very simple, just like I said. I'm going to show you that I had programmed in there with the KM0MDG, and these are all the talk groups that I showed you in KM0MDG. And that is in what's called a zone. So if you want to change zones, like suppose you're driving and you go through, I don't know, you want to talk to analog. Let's do analog. I go down here to zone, STL analog, and I select the zone. Now I've got all my analog channels in there in my area. So now I've got my analog radio. I want to go to a different zone. As I told you, one zone has many channels, and so that has about 17, that has like 34 or whatever. Anyway, I can go down here to Missouri State, thousands and thousands of channels. Texas, so if I'm in Oklahoma, maybe Oklahoma City or something, I select the zone, everything's programmed in there. How cool is that? And analog, for all you people that hate digital, I still have analog. My local zone is at the very top, number 1. KM0MDG. And if I have a hole going outside, and I ran this cable out, and I have my antenna on a bush right now. It's been too cold and nasty to put it up somewhere on the house, so right now it's just sitting on a bush. So I key up.
I'm on my AnyTone, it's 78 UV.
Alright. So once you key up, it seems, I don't know how this works exactly, but when you key up, I believe you connect to the repeater, and you're not connected until you do that.
Yes,
So I'm listening to 5020187, which is not in my memory bank that I told you about, otherwise his name would come up on there. If I wanted to find out who that was, 5020187. So I have his ID, and I can type it in just like a call sign.
Thank you very much, my friend.
And he is in West Malaysia.
Send me a card in crafted.com. 73, my friend. 73.
So the first channel is in West Malaysia, and I could talk to him if I wanted to. So that's where I was just sitting. My radio is just on the other side. That right there is a GPS unit that came with it, and I have it connected, and it will connect to the GPS. I just have not done APRS yet. So all I did was I took a really long, thin drill bit. It's about 1 foot long, and I drilled a small hole, and I found a path into my house that way. And then I got a bigger 1-inch, and I drilled the rest of it out that way. There's a whole bunch of crap in there, insulation and stuff. Of course, I still need to patch that hole up, and I will plug it up when I move or something, but I have it plugged on the other side, but not here. And then, of course, for now, I just lay this on the ground because I'm not about to get in my house right now. And then I ran the cable over here, and I'm making a video about this antenna, which I like a lot. Kind of hard to see. Is a ground plane 440, 2 meter 440, you know, ground plane antenna. And so, what I was thinking about doing, and then from here, I was thinking about running up there and putting a pole on top of the chimney, pole up, and then having it right there. It'd be kind of subtle if it was on the other side of the chimney, and then no one would hassle me. I also thought about running the cable, just temporary, relax. Ran the cable over here, and without getting on the house, I could just bolt it right there. It'd be fine. I can hit the repeater from there. I don't need it to be on top of the house. I don't know why I need to do that, so I figured I might just put it there and then hide the cable along there. But I need about 60 feet of cable. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy this. Please thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the alert button, all that stuff. Thank you.